We were at dinner. I asked my kids to drink their water. They didn't react, so I asked again. But this time with that tone. You know the one. The impatient, slightly annoyed, I've already said this once tone. And right in that moment, a question came to me that I haven't been able to forget since. Would I talk to my husband like that? If you ever caught yourself speaking to your kids in a way you would never speak to another adult, this video is for you. I'm Karin Schriebe, and today we're talking about something that changed how I parent. Why do we do this? Here's what I think is actually happening, and it's more than one reason. First, our kids get what's left. By the time they need us at the end of the day, we've already given our patience to work, our kindness to strangers, our best energy to everything else. And what's left, that's what lands on them. Second, they feel safe enough to trigger us. A colleague who keeps asking the same question gets our professional patience. A child who keeps asking the same question gets the real, unfiltered, exhausted version of us. Because they won't fire us, they won't leave, and somewhere unconsciously we know that. Third, many of us were spoken to this way, not because our parents didn't love us, but because they also didn't know another way. And we were repeating what we lived without even noticing. And fourth, sometimes we think we've earned the right. We're the parents, we decide, we know better. And that role as a parent, which is real and good, can quietly slide into something else, into a tone that says, I don't have to be careful with you because I'm in charge. But the power was never meant to look like that. Even God, who has all power, speaks to us with patience and kindness. The one with the most power in the room is often the most kind. Our children deserve the same basic respect we give to every other person in our lives. Not because they're in charge. They're not. We make the decisions. And where we can, we let them choose the color of their cup, which park we go to, what story tonight, the small things that say, your voice matters here too. But the big decisions, safety, boundaries, what's right, those stay with us. And that's not cruelty, that's love. We set the limits, and we don't need to change that. But there is a real difference between authority and disrespect. I can hold a firm boundary with a warm tone. I can say no with kindness. I can redirect without dismissing. Think about it this way. Even from a difficult boss at work, we expect to be spoken to with basic dignity. We wouldn't accept someone barking at us just because they're in charge or in a bad mood. How much more do our children, who we love, who trust us completely, deserve exactly that? And here's what the Bible adds to this. Children are instructed to honor their parents. We know Ephesians 6:1. But the very next verse says, do not provoke your children to anger. Bring them up with the discipline and instruction that comes from the Lord. Children learn respect by receiving it. They mirror what they live with. I created something practical for exactly these moments. It's called 6 biblical scripts for hard parenting moments. Real words for when you're about to snap, but want to respond differently. You'll find the link in the description below. Since that question came to me at the dinner table, it has become a kind of an inner compass. When I notice I'm using a tone I wouldn't use with another adult, I pause. Just for a second, and I ask, how would I want this said to me? The content doesn't always change. I still ask them to drink their water. I still hold the limit, but the way I say it, completely different. And when I don't catch it in time, when I've already said something in a tone I'm not proud of, I go back directly, specifically. I used the tone just now that wasn't kind. I'm sorry. That's not weakness, that's showing them exactly what taking responsibility looks like. And one day they'll do the same. There's something else worth saying here. We often show our worst to the people who feel safest. It's actually a sign of deep trust. When a child has a full meltdown at home but holds it together at school, they feel safe enough with you to fall apart. But the safety can't become an excuse for us to take out our frustration on them. The safest place should also be the kindest place. Our children are not an inconvenience. Their questions are not a burden. The fact that they come to us again and again is a gift. One day they might stop and will wish they hadn't. The next time you're about to respond to your child in a tone you wouldn't use with your husband or your best friend, pause 1 second and ask, how would I want to receive this? You don't have to be perfect, you just have to keep asking the question. Drop a comment below. Has this question ever caught you off guard? I would really love to hear your answer. Subscribe if you want more of these real conversations about faith and motherhood. I'll see you in the next one.